Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. Now, this was not the upload I wanted to make to celebrate reaching 1 million subscribers, and we'll talk about that at the end of today's video, but some massive and really unfortunate news today, as we've learned that the Respawn FPS, rumored to be the next Mandalorian game, we talked about that a bit last week, has now been canceled. This is just brutal news. We're coming out of, I don't want to call it a dark period of Star Wars gaming, but a period where I was certainly left wanting for more. What we did get, the Jedi series, Star Wars Squadrons, was excellent, but it really looked like moving forward, we were going to have a healthy slate of Star Wars video games. So let's talk about it. And it's a bit ironic that this comes the same day where we not only have renewed interest in the classic Star Wars Battlefront series, but we also just got an excellent re-release of Star Wars Dark Forces, the gameplay you're seeing on screen right now. So let's talk first about today's updates before going into the history of this video game. It's a really tough time for the video game industry right now. Sony just laid off 900 employees, which is massive. Smaller and independent studios are cutting jobs as well. In January, Microsoft let go almost 2,000 people across its gaming businesses. Hell, even Twitch, 500 jobs gone down the drain. Today it was announced that unfortunately EA would be joining that club, and they're letting go about 670 employees, 5% of their total staff. What exactly is going on with the video game industry is honestly beyond my knowledge. Overall game sales seem to be fine. I'm guessing companies overinflated their workforces during the pandemic, and there's probably been a drop in live service spending, but it doesn't really matter. Those people have lost their jobs, and major projects have now been canceled. Looking at EA specifically, they put out a statement which says a lot, honestly, about the future of Star Wars games as developed and produced by them. They say, and I quote, "As a company full of creators and storytellers, we believe in the value of teams innovating together and continue to learn and adopt new ways of collaborating to grow and serve our global communities. Given how and where we are working, we are continuing to optimize our global real estate footprint to best support our business. We are also sunsetting games and moving away from development of future licensed IP that we do not believe will be successful in our changing industry. This greater focus allows us to drive creativity, accelerate innovation, and double down on our biggest opportunities, including our owned IP, sports, and massive online communities." So what I'm getting from that statement is they don't necessarily like playing with Star Wars. I've got to wonder what the Disney and Star Wars licensing and profit sharing agreement is like. I can only speculate, but it's fairly insane to me that we're talking about what was leaked to be a Mandalorian game, one of the most popular elements of Star Wars, a game type people have been asking for decades, from a company like Respawn, and EA obviously believes that the Respawn talent and their development money can be spent better elsewhere, which is wild to me. This decision seems like it also came out of nowhere, as True on Twitter pointed out that Respawn were still hiring for their FPS game today. This seems like Star Wars Battlefront 2, the kind of thing where it was up in the air and the bigwigs decided it was going to go this way and the game is basically done. Originally, this was just a rumor. We knew that EA was canceling projects. We didn't know what specifically, but IGN has confirmed that Respawn's Star Wars game is no more. The article, which I'll link down below, has a quote from EA's president of entertainment, and it says, "It's always hard to walk away from a project, and this decision is not a reflection of the team's talent, tenacity, or passion they have for the game. Giving fans the next installment of the iconic franchises they want is the definition of blockbuster storytelling and the right place to focus." Whatever that means. I don't know. The article goes on to say, and I quote, "IGN understands that the team previously working on this game will be largely reassigned to other projects, including Apex, Iron Man, Black Panther, and Jedi, for which EA has confirmed a third installment. The Star Wars Jedi franchise will continue despite EA's move to focusing on owned IP, and EA is said to remain focused on its long-standing relationship with Disney and Marvel." I mean, obviously not that focused. Last time I checked, Star Wars is a part of Disney. Also completely up in the air now is the fate of the Star Wars strategy game being worked on by EA. It's been described as perhaps a take on XCOM, but for the Star Wars universe. I think maybe they haven't even decided what's happening. It's really sad to go back and look at the initial press release. I have a lot of faith generally in Respawn as a developer. Peter Hirschman is the game director there. He was the VP of development of LucasArts, and he worked on the original Battlefront games as well. And what really sucks sucks is that this is another Star Wars 1313 situation. All of the work, all of the progress made towards this game, it will go nowhere. Like, it will be abandoned. Other teams will not be able to come back and work on it. It's gone to the wind. I just don't understand this. I don't know. Star Wars fans want to play Star Wars video games. I don't know how else to describe it. Single player games like the Star Wars Jedi series have sold extremely well. AA games as well, like Star Wars Squadrons, they've also earned apparently enough to justify DLC when it wasn't even planned. It just sucks because we get glimpses of so many interesting projects, whether it was Project Ragtag from Visceral, Star Wars 1313 from back in the day. This upcoming, well, not upcoming anymore, this canceled game was described as a movement-focused Mandalorian game with a linear narrative. That sounds great. I don't even know what to say. Like, this just stinks. There's so much potential for Star Wars. We were in a golden age of gaming at one point. Star Wars fans want to play different types of games. They want strategy. They want shooters. I'm glad that the Jedi series is continuing, but this should just be one of many Star Wars games now coming out. I'm glad we moved away from EA being the sole developer, but I mean, at this point, it does sort of feel like they're throwing their cards away and storming off having a tantrum. Star Wars has just shown an inability to get anything done, and it sucks. Anyway, I don't have much more to say about this. I do want to take a second and thank you guys for helping me reach the monumental, honestly monumental milestone of 1 million subscribers. That's more people than live in my city. I was sort of one of the first generations which grew up with YouTube. The YouTubers that I watched way back in the day, they weren't really doing it for a job, but that's something that emerged the more I watched, and there was something that I always felt, or rather that I just felt in love with about the idea of being a YouTuber, the sense of community, the interacting with your fan base, the making something that will stay there forever, that reflects how you feel at a time, what your life was like at a time. I can look back and see the videos I made before my first child was born, and in 10 years I'll be able to look back at the videos I made now. There's something that I find very special about that, and I've really appreciated getting to share myself and my opinions with you guys. Do you agree with everything I say? No. Do I agree with all of your feedback? No, and that's part of the fun. That's what makes it so special. In the future, I want to bring you guys even more of me. Some of you know I've got other channels as well. I've got a hockey channel, I've got a football channel, we've got gaming channels. The job has always been difficult, but I fall more in love with this and the community every day, and I very much hope that in a couple of years, we're talking 2 million subscribers, and that in 10 years, I'm still here, you guys are still here, and we can look back at all the fun things we've done together. Either way, whether you were one of the first 200 subscribers when I was making Star Wars Force Arena videos, or you came in yesterday after 1 million, I'm really glad you're here. I spend so much time a day reading your comments, taking in your feedback, and I appreciate each and every one of you, even those who have bad Star Wars ship takes. But until next time, guys, be safe, have a good one, may the Force be with you.